All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Big Roofs Podcast. I'm your host, John Delaurier. We also have the other former host, AJ Riley, here today.
I got fired. There's a new host
He
now.
fired himself. Today, we're going to talk about something that's pretty exciting in home services and roofing specifically. We're going to be talking about AI. What does that mean? And what does it mean for you as a roofing contractor? Should you get on board? Should you wait until we figure out the bugs? We're going to talk about specifically what ProLine's doing, but also what a lot of people are asking us in sales demos and just people on social media in general. Like, why do I need to get AI? It's a big thing. Or how will it benefit my business, my team? Will it make them more efficient? All those questions. So thanks for meeting me today, AJ. I'm in Atlanta today, so
Absolutely.
We're live.
Thanks for meeting me in Atlanta.
It's true.
Yeah. So no, it's this is exciting. This is the first time I've been back on Big Roofs since I let myself go, and now I get to sit down with you and you as the host, which is very exciting.
It is cool,
and we have a very exciting topic to talk about today.
We do.
It's been the hype for a long time. The AI hype train has been already on the track for a while, but I think there's been some shifts. There's been some changes. And so there's a reason why we're talking about it today, as opposed to talking about it last year or the year before, when a lot of other people started talking about it. So,
yep. And I would say in general, people have thought about ProLine as like AI anyway, whether it's accurate or not. There is some AI elements to what ProLine already does with the automations. And so it's kind of part of our mission is to make our team more efficient, to make our customers more efficient, and more effective. And this kind of new campaign of what we're building is just an extension of that. It just takes it to the next level to really, I mean, it's June of 2025 right now. In June of 2026, it's going to be drastically different landscape for all home services getting on this train of having this tool and this type of service for their homeowners. It's really important. What are some things that you see initially?
Well, let's talk about the automation thing, because I think this is a point of confusion. A lot of people have been talking about AI for the last 7, 8, 9, even 10 years in some cases, and a lot of people confuse the concept of AI with automation. And there is overlap for sure between automation and AI. But what we had with ProLine is we built a very strong automation platform initially from day one. And then around that, we built a powerful CRM platform. And then there were elements of the automations that used some AI machine learning stuff to, for example, like optimal time. But this isn't drastically different then there's a lot of different automation platforms out there, and almost all CRMs will say they have automation, right? But automation is different than AI in that AI is a lot more flexible. So if you think of automation, it's you're creating a recipe for, I want this to happen. When this happens, I want this to happen, and this to happen. Whereas an AI solution is going to be able to be deployed in a variety of situations and is going to be able to make decisions around what actions to take based on the environment. For example, if an AI tool is answering a phone call, then it's going to be able to make the decision: is this a qualified prospect or not? Should this be scheduled for an appointment? And if it's scheduled for an appointment, when should it be scheduled? With which team member? Tied to which location? These are the things. There's a lot of nuanced sort of branching logic, and that's what AI is really good at. And so that's sort of the transition that we've seen over the last few years, is as AI has this AI hype has been going on for a couple of years now. It's around that ability to have a tool that can intelligently make a lot of different decisions based on the context. And when this first sort of came on the scene, ChatGPT launched, everybody was talking about it. We intentionally at ProLine held back. We didn't want to jump on that train too soon because it was the Wild West, and it's still the Wild West. However, There's some trends that are emerging now to where what we're seeing is there's a right and a wrong way to deploy AI within a contracting business. And we're seeing that if you deploy it the right way, it's extraordinarily effective. And we're seeing our existing customers start to deploy AI in ways that we see as being both repeatable and makes sense to have be part of a CRM infrastructure.
Yeah, that it's totally true. I've been going to a bunch of events and seeing a ton of new AI companies emerge magically, either funded or non-funded. And so they're trying to solve a lot of these problems that contractors generally have. Let's back up really quick because some people don't understand just things like optimal time and the automation side of things. When we were building ProLine in the beginning, when it was just the tool, PowerLine, it was really a concern for me to not upset my customers with automations. The same, it gets even more complicated when you have AI, obviously. So what I wanted to do is continue to build the trust. That's why everyone has a unique local area code phone number. That's why we have that. We want to maintain the trust. Then you have things like optimal time. Can you just break that down really quick? It's somewhat confusing for people, but it was like as a result of like not upsetting a potential customer or existing customer, like optimal time for the automations. What does that look like for people? Because a lot of people, I get that question a lot.
Yeah, optimal time represents, and for anyone wondering, optimal time is our feature in ProLine that it intelligently decides what time of day and even what day of the week is the correct time to actually send an automated message to a customer, specifically in the context of, for example, sales follow-up, to make sure you're sending that at the best time of day when they're most likely to respond, when they're most likely to not be angry at receiving it. So working around holidays and stuff like that. But it is optimal time is a good example of the really the lowest, simplest tier of what people commonly will call AI, which is really just machine learning. It's the ability to have a system that learns over time. It's able to look at data, and as it collects more data, it's able to refine its decision-making capabilities to make a more accurate decision. And that's what the optimal time system was. It was a very simple AI that was built into our automation engine, which isn't itself artificial intelligence, but then is rescheduling and deciding the right time of day to send an automation. So that is like one layer up from just automating. Is like, it's like the first layer of actual that you could call AI. And we've had that in ProLine now for three-ish years or more.
So I wanted to highlight that because it is kind of the foundation of people that are hesitant to adopt technology or automations now AI for the future. When you're a contractor, I know that a lot of people have the same concerns. And so what we do is we want to address those concerns with intelligent way of deploying these new things. These like, oh, why do I need this? And I don't want to lose. I mean, we spend so much time, effort, and energy getting just a new lead. You don't want to waste that lead or upset that person that's a potential customer or an existing customer. It's really important, like you're saying, the way we held back and we want to deploy AI the right way. That we want to help our contractors, but I also think of the homeowners that are their customers, because I want them to, have a good experience with our customers. And so let's touch on the things that I have seen the most, and maybe you've seen as well, for these different AI companies popping up in the home service space. What's the first thing that you see, the first use of AI? Like what I see is answering phones and then making outbound calls as well. What does that look like, and what makes it different at ProLine as we deploy it?
Yeah, so I think talking about, like, let me touch on optimal time one more time to kind of set this up. And that is, we approach that. The first piece of AI we ever built in ProLine was, like you're talking about, to make the experience better for our customer's customer. And it successfully did that in a way that a human just simply can't, because it would take way too much time to be monitoring all of this data. And we're approaching this next layer of AI in the exact same way. How do we put together an AI tool set that is able to help our customers delight and create an even better experience for their customers, better than they otherwise would be able to, better than they otherwise might be able to fit and still make a profit, to fit into their budget, and overall something that is going to level up the experience. And I think that's one thing that, like you're saying, people can be scared about. It's like, oh, as AI comes in, is it going to make the experience worse? And I'll say, I can't speak to the way other people are implementing it or other companies are implementing it, but the way ProLine is implementing it is in a way that is going to only increase and improve that experience. So one of the big things that we have seen by watching how AI has developed over the last couple of years, this sort of new AI, powerful AI layers and LLMs, is that the best way to deploy this AI is in the form of not a person, it's not a person, but an entity. And so it's as an agent. AI agents has been something that people have been talking about recently, and it's a form. It's where you take these AI tools and you put them together in a way that they can actually operate as a member of your team. And that's the way that we're approaching it at ProLine. Is we are launching an AI agents platform where you're able to add essentially additional team members to your team that are artificial intelligence. And so you're able to augment your team by adding in additional team members that are able to do things that just doesn't make sense to have a person do. Things like be able to answer the phone and schedule appointments at 11 p.m. at night. That's a thing that's going to delight customers, where they're going to be able to, in the middle of the night, if there's a roof leak, they can call your business, they can have somebody answer that's asking the right questions, that's going to get them scheduled for an appointment as quickly as possible, and is going to make sure that they get the help that they need. That's a great example of an application of an AI agent that is going to just simply delight our customers, ProLine users, customers. And the first, specifically that use case of answering the phones, that is the use case that we've identified as being the highest impact use case for AI agents. That is the most immediately valuable, and that is the most thoroughly tested at this point. It seems like there would be easier AI things to add, and we actually are adding some other features we can talk about, like transcripts, summaries, call analysis, scoring. There's other AI features that we're launching as well in the coming weeks and months. But again, our main focus is on these agents. And the initial version of the agents are going to be able to receive incoming phone calls and book appointments, pre-qualify and book appointments from those phone calls, and then also place outbound calls to inbound leads. So if you have inbound leads coming from your website that are filling out a form, you can now have your AI agent place a call within seconds of that lead coming through to again, pre-qualify them, schedule them for an appointment. So that is the first use case, is actually providing a higher level of experience over the phone to your customers around the clock. We're going to be expanding that phone use case into other categories. For example, updating your customers around production, or even sales follow-up calls. Those are other applications we're going to be looking at and exploring, and making sure that we deploy new types of agents around those that are actually effective and are going to work. So that will come later. And again, we want to approach this carefully and make sure that we're providing a tool that's actually going to make the experience better. But the other layers here, the other capabilities, we're going to be adding more and more capabilities. Once we have the core AI agents built, which we're launching the voice agents now. The once we have that core agent, we're able to then start adding more and more capabilities to that agent over time. Not just different use cases for the voice, but also the ability to reply or draft text messages or send text messages, the ability to move projects around, the ability to enter data, the ability to log notes. And then long term, we envision these agents getting to the point where you can actually potentially talk to them. That's something that, this is a little further out, so that how that looks exactly may change, but the current vision is to actually get to the point to where you can talk to your AI agents and you can say, hey, can you go into my ProLine account and, add this or add this campaign or add this stage or set up this quote template. And that's where we are working towards is making these true, highly capable members of your team that you can speak to, give instructions to, and then they can go out and take action inside the ProLine environment. So that's where we're headed with these AI agents, and it's very exciting. And we could have scrambled and probably put out some AI stuff last year, the year before, when everyone was first started talking about it. But we've intentionally moved slow on this. We wanted to identify what makes the most sense, what's actually going to be valuable, what's going to create the maximal value for our customers, is going to delight our customers, and again, getting back to our tagline, help our customers to sell more jobs. And we've identified the path to do that, and now we're taking action on that.
That's awesome. I mean, the second part of and still make it home for dinner. This is another thing that we want our customers to sell more jobs. But again, everything that you're talking about is looking at our customer's customer. Like, they're getting a better experience. You're making this contractor is accessible 24/7. And in the beginning stages of how the market treats AI, they're going to think this is kind of, it's kind of a fun thing. And they're going to realize this is actually really helpful. And I can get my problem at least started to be solved, which is roof leak or some sort of roofing issue or exterior issue. I can call these companies. I test this all the time with other home services, and I'll call like 3 to 5 companies. They don't answer their phone. It's still shocking to me in this year that people will not answer their phone. They do not have things in place. I'll break down really quick what I've talked about on other podcasts, but you can use kind of like a Ruby receptionist type of calling service. It's going to be a pool of people, US based. They're going to answer your phone. It's going to be $300 to $500, $700 a month. Then you can use somebody like SMA, who's a dedicated team member who I use as well. I use both of these companies. You're going to have somebody that's there, that's a virtual assistant that knows your company, that can do all those things you just said, which is answer phones, but also pre-qualify, schedule appointments, a lot of other things that somebody that's a virtual assistant can do. When you have AI and you add it to that, and you have a secondary after hours call or weekend, whatever it is, however you decide to use AI, you're just extending the same level of customer service that you're already trying to achieve by making sure you're accessible to your homeowners.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they hear about the AI agents and they're like, oh, well, now I don't need these people in my business. I think it's the wrong way to think about it.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's the wrong way to think about it is because what we're already seeing is that the best contractors are layering this in on top of their human teams, and they're able to create a 10 times better experience for their customers, a 10 times better experience for their prospects. And so what's going to happen is the best contractors in each market are going to set the standard to where they're accessible 24/7, and it's probably a person during the day, but then even during the day, what if you get 5 calls at once? One person can't answer 5 calls at once.
That's right.
So what happens to those 4 additional calls while your receptionist is on the phone with the first person? Do they go to voicemail? Why do they have to go to voicemail? Why can't they go to the AI receptionist who can still talk to them? So it's not about replacing the people. It's some people may try to do that, but they're just going to undercut. They're going to end up falling short of the new standard that great contractors are setting. Yep. The great contractors in every market are going to be layering these together so that regardless of when someone's calling them. It can be, 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. They're going to get, again, no one's getting tricked here. They're going to know it's an AI.
Mhm.
They're going to know that they're an AI answer the phone. But no, the thing is, and this is what we've seen over the last couple of years, people don't care as long as they're able to get their questions answered. They're able to get scheduled for an appointment. As long as they're getting the help they need,
Mhm.
they would probably rather have a person on the phone. But at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning, they understand they're not going to get a person. They're just going to be grateful they didn't get voicemail.
Yep.
Right. Or worse, a full voicemail, which, I mean, I've definitely called contractors and gotten this voicemail box is full. That's really terrible.
Yeah.
But so it's not, will some contractors try to use this to decrease their headcount? Sure. It's going to happen. But I think that while that's happening, there's going to be an equal number of really great contractors they're either layering this on top, and then they're going to grow as a result, and then they're still going to need more people. So I think at the end of the day, this is not about replacing humans with AI. This is about providing, raising the bar on the experience that specifically contractors using ProLine are able to provide, and then that becoming the new standard in every market across the country for the experience that you get when you contact a contractor.
Yep. I think, even if you had just your in-house receptionist, I keep talking about being effective and efficient. The morale, how great would it be if you had this job, you knew what your tasks were, and your in-house receptionist, you answered phones, pre-qualified, scheduled appointment. That's your thing. Well, like you just said, what if there's calls coming in, they're getting voicemail? The AI bridges that gap without having to hire another person. It makes that one receptionist really effective.
Yeah.
Because then there's notes, there's all kinds of information they get immediately, and the customer is still talking, and like you just said, they're getting their questions answered, they're getting pre-qualified, and they're moving toward a solution, not getting a voicemail.
Yep.
Let's talk about really quick. I just got to see last night some of the agents that were making the tonality, the voice, the dialects of things. Let's talk about what ProLine is doing, or what makes us different. I see this a lot because I've tried different things on my phone for there's 4 different options for voices. Why is that important? Why are we trying to be better at that part of the process? Because again, it's a new thing. Contractors are like, what is this? They want to, in my view, they want it to be somebody who represents them and their company and their brand. So what are some things that we're trying to do that's a little different, or just what's our process?
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of what I'm getting there is, what's going to be unique about ProLine's implementation of AI that they can't get already, maybe with a third party AI platform. So I think this goes back to our core mindset of ProLine, which is we're trying to track to selling more jobs and having a better customer experience. But that really comes back to communication, which has always been our strongest suit, is the fact that we have the phone system all built into the CRM. Everything gets tracked. You have seamless transitions between automated messages and the phone numbers that the team is using manually. So you have that. You have very high quality automations going on. We've always been hyper focused on that communications piece. Now moving into the thing is, the reason I bring that up is because we built that into the CRM when no other CRMs were doing that, or very few other CRMs were doing that, because we recognize that in order to correctly automate communication in a contracting business, you need the automation and the phone numbers specifically to be built into the CRM. There's no other way to do it, because you have all the data right there that you need to pull from to make the correct actions happen. You have all the triggers right there, and it's where everything needs to get tracked and logged is in the CRM. So it makes sense to have all that communication into the CRM. What we are seeing, because we were sitting on the sidelines here for a couple years to make sure this is something that we needed to do, and what we have concluded is these AI agents need to be built into the CRM for the same reason. They have to, the AI agents are only as good as the context and the prompting that you give them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to understand, in order for them to correctly answer questions, they have to be able to see every single detail of what's going on with a project and a contact in your CRM. So is that possible with a third-party tool that has API access? Sure. But they're never, no matter how good an API is on a platform and how good, because we're going to launch our partner API here soon. No matter how good that is, they're never going to have as much context and as much understanding as they will if they're built into the CRM platform. And so what we're seeing is that AI agents will be the future of how AI gets implemented inside of contracting businesses. And it's going to be, you're going to have a lot of options. There's going to be a lot of options. And it's very exciting right now, but ultimately it's going to come down to who can provide me the best agents that make the best decisions, that give the best experience to my customers, that give the right answers, that ask the right questions, that schedule the appointments in the right time slots and don't double book my team. They're scheduling it with the right team members. That is a very nuanced equation that you got going on there, recipe of data that has to get passed to that AI. And that is just simply not possible unless those AI agents are built directly into the CRM platform that you're using. And so right now, we're going to be the first CRM that has launched AI agents. And I hope that nobody else launches. That would be amazing. If nobody else launches AI agents, okay, all right, cool. But it's going to have to happen because this is the future, and it will become part of the new standard of what contractors look for in a CRM platform. Is how good are your AI agents? What can your AI agents do for me in your CRM platform? Because nobody wants to spend all day in their software.
Yeah, I was just going to make a point on that. Like there's a lot of exhaustion over getting multiple different, their tech stack is huge. There's 20 different things, 10 different things. Everybody has been wanting an all-in-one solution. Now, that's a very hot topic. Having the AI agent in your platform for all the same reasons you just said. You have a local area phone number. It's part of your team. The activity feed's all consistent.
It's all logged, all the communication. Everything the AI does is tracked in your CRM.
Yep. You're not having to, practically speaking, your team member, it's not having to go look at two different platforms and okay, here's what's going on. Even if it's integrated, it doesn't matter. You want to make your team member efficient. It negates all the efficiency of having this, AI agent that's helping your business if you have to go look for the information or it's not consistent. So having it in your CRM is really, really important. And I'm super excited that we're building it within ProLine.
Yep, absolutely. And I do want to point out that, we're talking about AI here, and that's the point of this podcast. We're not abandoning anything else. We are still pushing. We have a whole other features that are completely not related to AI in any way that are running and that we're working on and we're launching. There's multiple other feature launches we're very excited about in the coming weeks and months. So we definitely do not want to just abandon everything else because there's a lot of very important features around production management, around billing, around budgeting, a lot of things that we need to have in the platform that our customers are looking for, that our prospects are looking for. And so we're not setting any of that aside. We're continuing to push the ball forward on that. But what we've identified here is this is absolutely critical at this stage. It's critical for our customers in order to win, and it just makes sense to have in our platform. So it's something that we are prioritizing now that we have the initial agents live.
Yep. Well, anything else to add, AJ? I think this has been super helpful. I think most people are going to have a lot of their questions answered. I'm just excited for us to continue to develop this problem solution. Anything else with AI you want to add at the end?
No, but like you're saying, problem solution. I mean, I think this is what sets us apart here at ProLine is we're not sitting on, we were successful or we were the first or, we were the most customizable and then just sitting there. We're constantly looking for what's that next layer moving towards our overall vision, which is to automate and take as much work off the contractor's plate as possible to allow them to provide that amazing experience, to sell more jobs. And so we're step by step, we're building towards that vision, and we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to keep looking for what's that next problem to solve, what's that next layer to look at improving. And I can say confidently we have the fastest rate of improvement of any platform in this space, and we're not slowing down anytime soon.
I agree. It's shocking how fast we're moving and how well we're able to solve those problems and how quickly we're able to do it too. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Old co-host. Thanks for watching Big Roofs. You guys have a great day.